Telling your sides, Kid Talk. Think about issues. Talk it out. Learn from others. Share your thoughts. Express your feelings. It's about what's on your mind. Telling your sides, Kid Talk.
Hello, I'm Don Roberts, and welcome to Kid Talk, filling in for Carrie Fury today. Now, we're always happy when our friends from the Virginia Living Museum stop by to visit. And today, it's all about living green, and we have a very special visitor, and I'm wondering, kids, if you know who this is. Now, he may be new to some of you, but he's an old friend to all of the parents out there. So I need you to say hello to Smokey Bear. Say hi, Smokey Bear.
Hi, Smokey Bear.
Now, Smokey is joining us today along with our guest expert, Susan Summers, an educator with the Virginia Living Museum. Susan?
Good morning.
Thanks for joining us on Kid Talk today. And these students are from, I think, probably the greatest school in North Carolina. Kids, what school are you from?
Moyock Elementary!
And let me check that. Is it Moyock or is it Moyock?
Moyock.
He says it's Mo, you say what?
Moyock.
Moy. I got a Mo and a Moy. So we'll kind of blend it or work out something down the middle. Now, who can tell me what living green means, Mr. Green Shirt?
It means to help the environment, to save energy.
Great idea. And how can you save energy in your home?
By turning off lights when not in use.
Oh, I like that idea. Going green, saving energy, you got an idea for me?
You could recycle,
Recycle what?
like soda cans and bottles.
Excellent. And so how do you do that?
I guess
Like,
you
for instance,
would.
at your house, what would you do when you're finished with the soda in the can or the bottle?
I would put it in a recycling bin, and when it gets full, we would take it to the dump and put it in the recycling bucket.
Great idea. And I'm glad you got those ideas in your brain already, and some of you are probably doing that. How many of you are recycling right now? Let me see your hands in the air. That is good, and that is encouraging. Now, what are some of the other things that you can do at your home so that you can live green and recycle, or some other things? Let me step on over here. Some of the other things you can do at your home as we live green. Dylan?
You could recycle paper or
So what kinds of paper are we talking about?
newspaper, paper that's already been used, like paper that's been outside that somebody just, you can go outside and pick up anyone else's newspaper that was on the ground, like soda cans.
I love the way you're expanding it from your house to the neighborhood. Haley, you thinking about some ideas about how you can live green?
Like Dylan said, picking up trash that you find on the ground in your neighborhood, like pick it up and recycle it in your own recycling bin.
Does that bug you like it bugs me when you're walking down the neighborhood and you see trash in front of a house and you're saying, you know, why did they leave the trash outside? Yeah. But do you ever pick it up?
Yes, I do.
All right. Can you think of any other ways that you go green at your house?
You could, like, turn off lights when you're not in the room. Or,
Turn off
like,
lights.
Turn off, like, all the TVs and electricity when you're not, and, like, devices, you can turn them off when you're not using them.
Great idea. Great ideas. You guys are on board already, and you are making this thing happen. I'm glad you're very much aware of that. Now, the Virginia Living Museum has a year-round exhibit that teaches us how to live green. And Susan joins us now to tell us more about the program in Newport News at the Living Museum and how it works. And thanks for joining us again.
Oh, you're welcome. Happy to be here. We have a Goodson house, a living greenhouse, that shows a little bit of how you can help save energy, recycle products, use them in everyday life. And I think you all went to visit and saw that, but we have a house that has recycled material for insulation, such as blue jeans, newspapers. We have, the house has plants growing on it to help save energy, keep it cool. We have composting beside it, so you can take some of your food products that you didn't eat at all, you can put it in the compost bin and you can use it in your garden.
Hold it right there. How many of you compost? Oh, Smokey Bear's raising the hand and say, yeah, I compost all the time. But really, let me find out a little bit more about what it is you do. So tell me about what you guys do.
You take leftover food and you bury it in the ground. So it makes soil fresher and rich.
Take leftover food, you bury it in the ground. Now, are you worried about some critters getting to it?
They actually help it grow.
Really? See, you're on board with that already. Susan, tell us a little bit more about the composting and how it works, and because it sounds like she's got it down pat.
Well, there is a barrel that you can use at your own home, and we have an example of it at the museum where you put the food products in there and you turn it every so often, and so it starts to break down. Eventually it gets to the point where you can put it in your garden, and the worms love it. The other insects that would be helping your garden would be in there eating it as well. So we have an example of one of those barrels right beside the house where you can see how it would work and how actually convenient it would be to have in your, in your own backyard.
So we're talking composting and other things that you can do at your house. I think you were about to mention some other ideas too.
Well, a rain barrel. You know, we have at our Goodson house a way that when it rains, the water comes down and goes right into a rain barrel. So instead of using tap water, you can recycle water from nature, you know, and use that to water your plants, use them in your garden, you know, just for, you know, everyday use in your yard. And we have examples of that, and we give people information on how they can do that in their own homes, because I think one of the problems is people don't realize how easy and economical it is to do. So, you know, for us, we're trying to encourage that behavior, you know, think global but act local, and that's, you know, that's our kind of our mission as far as
I like that.
Yeah.
That's kind of catchy. Hey, everybody say, think global.
Think global.
Act local.
Act local.
Sounds pretty good. Who else has some kind of recycling programs or recycling efforts at your house? What are some of the things that you're doing, Cameron?
Sometimes my mom and dad, when they emptied like a plastic bottle, they'd put it outside, maybe in the garage or on top of the trash can, and they'd get a bag specially for recycling. And then whenever the truck would pull up, they'd put it in a trash can, and he'd take it to a recycling place.
This is a good deal. So the parents are on board and they're doing it and they're teaching you some pretty good lessons too, huh? All right, how about you?
I conserve energy, and I turn the water off while I'm brushing my teeth.
Water, that's very important. Tell me about that tip again.
When you brushing your teeth, you can turn off the water until you're done.
What's another way that you can conserve water besides brushing your teeth? How about you?
Take very short showers instead of baths.
So what's the fastest shower you've ever taken?
A few minutes.
Few minutes. All right, who's taking a shower shorter than a few minutes?
Probably like 1 minute.
1 minute. Can you get clean in 1 minute?
No.
Oh, see, your classmates are telling on you now. All right, guys. Tell you what, we're going to take a quick break. Now, more kid talk when we get back. But first, here's this week's Just Joking. Welcome back to Kid Talk. It's all about living green today, and our friends from the Virginia Living Museum are here. And Smokey Bear, how you doing, Smokey Bear? Hey guys, what does Smokey Bear say? Let me hear your Smokey Bear voice.
Only you can
Say what?
Only you can prevent forest fires.
There we go. You got it. All right, Smokey Bear is here, and the Virginia Living Museum is here. Susan, thanks for joining us.
Glad to be here.
And now that we have discussed what we can do at home to live green, well, what about outside of our homes? What about the trees and the plants and the bodies of water that surround us? And what can we do to take care of those? So trees, plants, other greenery. Got any ideas, guys, on what we can do? How about you? Because you know we need to take care of our trees.
Yeah. Plant more trees, so yeah.
That's a good idea. Plant more trees. Susan, how important is that? Like, especially in, like, new developments where all the trees from an old forest have been cleared out.
Well, trees are really good for a couple of different things, and I'm sure you all know that, you know, providing oxygen is a really good thing, so the leaves are providing oxygen. Also providing shade, and if you have trees near your home, it helps to, you know, have shade by your house to keep it from getting overheated in the summer. And also the roots will help prevent erosion, you know, have erosion control, because they're spread out and keeping the soils together, and so really important if you live in an area that water is washing by and dirt is running off and washing away. You don't want that. So grasses and plants, and especially trees, are really good to help you with those things.
Trees. So we know what to do with trees. What else can we do to support or to promote the greenery in our neighborhoods so that we can have a lot of fresh air? What are some of the other things we can do, Blaze? What do you think?
Well, we can, as they said, we can plant more trees to help. We can have more oxygen, and the roots can stop erosion.
And greenery around your house. Can you think of any ideas on things you can do to have more greenery around your house? How about grass? You got a pretty big lawn to cut.
Yeah.
You guys like to plant flowers and shrubs and things like that?
A little bit.
A little bit. What are some other ideas, guys, on how we can use greenery or how greenery helps us when it comes to living green? What do you think? What are some of those ideas? Jacob, how about your neighborhood? A lot of greenery in your neighborhood?
Well, yes, there is a lake where a lot of ducks and geese come, and there's also a lot of turtles there, but sometimes when some of the turtles will get on the road and...
Oh, no, don't say it. The turtles get on the road and some not so good things happen, huh? Yeah. So if you get a chance, well, you have to be careful about that, because if you see a turtle on the road, that means you have to go out in the street. So you have to be careful about that. But Susan, what are some of the things that kids can do in their neighborhood to promote greenery, to promote green living?
Well, you know, I think a lot of them are, you know, actually already doing this, and they probably don't realize it. You know, they're picking up trash in their neighborhood. They're, you know, making sure they're not wasting water, wasting resources. They are probably packing lunches where they're using reusable materials. You know, we used to pack our lunch and just throw it all away, but nowadays we are reusing things, you know, bottles, Tupperware, that sort of thing, where we refill them and we bring them back. So we are, you know, promoting recycling within just our normal everyday things. We're not going out and buying new things all the time just to have them. We are using what we have, and that's a really good thing. As far as greenery, I think a lot of people are buying local produce, you know, peaches and squash and things like that during the summer. So using, you know, helping your local farmer, because they're growing local foods, and that's, you know, better to have fresh local stuff.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's delicious. So I think, you know, I would imagine they're probably already doing all of that, I would think.
Who lives near a farm? Oh, man, you get a chance to get some fresh fruits and veggies. That is great. One thing you said, Susan, that was really important is water and treating water with respect. Who lives around a waterway, a lake, a pond, a river, or a stream? And can you tell me about some of the things that you might do to help keep things clean around the water?
Well, you can keep trash out of it to keep the animals safe, and it can help them a lot.
All right, good idea. Anybody got any other ideas on some of the things? And I'm wondering if you've ever been involved in an organized campaign where you just went out to the waterfront and just started picking things up. But what are some of the things you can do? And who's been involved in a campaign like that? All right, Logan.
Well, in my neighborhood, like, everyone from the neighborhood, like, pays like $6 maybe a month, and like we have people go out into our lake and clean out the trash and make sure there isn't a lot of rocks in there too.
What are some of the craziest things you've seen that folks have dumped out on the street or in the water, and doesn't that drive you crazy?
Like some people, they just throw trash out their window. Like we were driving down the highway one day and someone just throws a bag of trash out the window.
Oh man, don't you hate that? How about you? What did you see?
I've seen cups and stuff fly out the windows.
Really?
Sometimes maybe glass bottles and soda cans.
Don't you kind of want your parents to honk the horn and say, don't do that?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Jordan, let me come on down here.
My family was driving to somewhere, and this guy had like some trash at the back of his truck, and then it just flew right out. It flew right out the back of the truck.
You guys know what happens if we don't clean up. We have a big mess on our hands, and the waterways and the streets get polluted, and even the air sometimes. So what you're doing is good when you're picking it up and encouraging your parents to do the same thing. Tell you what, we got to take a break right now, but coming up next on Kid Talk, we're going to continue our conversation with you guys from Moyock, North Carolina, and with the Virginia Living Museum. But first up, we need you to remember that you can catch Kid Talk online anytime. Just log on to WAVY.com and click on the On-Air tab to find us. You can also watch full episodes, including this one right there, and you can check it out. We will be right back. Welcome back to Kid Talk, and we're still talking about living green today with our friends from the Virginia Living Museum. Susan Summers, hey, thanks for joining us. And Smokey Bear. Everybody say, hey, Smokey Bear.
Hey, Smokey Bear.
And if you're just tuning in and you're wondering, who are these children, these great-looking kids? Well, they're from one of the greatest elementary schools in the country. What school are you from, guys?
Elementary.
And that's just below the Virginia line in North Carolina, right? And I'm just double checking again. Is it, how do you say it?
Moyock.
Moyock. Or is it?
Moyock.
Oh, it's Moyock. I thought I heard Moyock, but it's Moyock. All right. So as we wrap up our discussion on living green, we've got a few tips that we need to share with you to help us all live green and enjoy this planet Earth. Now, here are some of the tips that we want you guys to remember. First of all, recycle. It's a great idea, and it works, and I think a lot of you guys are doing that already. Now, it's easy to do. When it's time to take out the trash, remember to separate the items that can be recycled, toss those plastic bottles and cardboard boxes in that blue bin. Conserve energy and water. Now, when you leave the room, don't forget to turn off the lights, the TV, the computer, the video game, or whatever you're using. Saving that energy goes a long way. And turn off the water while you're brushing your teeth or washing your face. That can reduce the amount of water you waste. And give yourself a time limit on those showers, and that can help you too. Like, we got one guy here who can take a shower in 60 seconds. Sounds like a military man. And finally, reduce waste and be mindful of the waste you create because it adds up. Think about whether you can reuse something before throwing it away. The less trash we have, the cleaner the earth will be. Now, my producer was telling me about one point that I wanted to get across that, Susan, you're promoting and Smokey Bear's involved in. I think it's a special program you got with Smokey Bear. Tell us about that.
We have a special exhibit called Smokey Bear and Woodsy Owl Home Sweet Home. That exhibit will be at the museum until April 29th, and it is a fun way to just practice the whole thing that we've been talking about: recycling, conserving water, planting trees, composting. It's a very, very hands-on interactive exhibit that shows kids how fun it is to do that. And there's even this great little campfire that before you leave, you know, you must, in order to put it out, you have to dump the water, the fire, put the fire out, so that way you don't walk away from your campsite with the fire going. So there's a little of everything in there: recycling, turning water, planting trees. It's all great fun.
Now I'm going to try to reach these guys right here because you mentioned something that is very important: fire. Have you ever seen a fire in your neighborhood or in your community? Have you ever seen fire in your neighborhood or your community?
No, but but when we go camping, we always remember to put out our fire.
Excellent.
And we
excellent.
check 2 or 3 times.
That is so smart. How about you, Gabriella?
I've never seen a fire in my neighborhood or community, but we've had a fire in my neighborhood before.
Wow. And what are some of the ways to treat fire with respect, Ashley?
You can call the fire department and they could come and help.
Good idea. And in Virginia, it's 911, but what number do you call? Is it still 911? All right. And Matthew, you have some recycling and conservation and green tips. What did you want to tell us about? How do you guys conserve or recycle or keep the earth green?
We have a red recycling bin in our garage, and every time we use a Fresca or any type of soda can, we always put it in the bin and we leave it there for a few days until the recycling person comes around.
That's a good idea. Good idea. Now, who else has some good ideas for me about how you guys recycle and what you do to kind of keep the earth green? Let's see, right behind me. All right, Devin.
Like, we eat a lot of fruit in our house. So when we have a garden area in our backyard, so when we finish like an apple, we'll take the seeds and plant them in our garden, so we're not just throwing the apple core away.
Good idea. I like that. How about you, Sarah? You like this idea of going green?
Yes, sir. My family, we have 2 trash cans. One's our recyclables, and the other is our regular trash. And every week, my dad takes the recyclables down to the dump, and so we just keep recycling.
Yeah.
We have paper bins.
Great idea. Great deal. Who else has some ideas about recycling? Like, one idea I like is when you go to the supermarket and you have one of those permanent type bags. Instead of getting the plastic bags, you get the permanent type bag.
You can plant more grass in areas where there's just a bunch of dirt and no grass or anything or if there is also no trees, you can plant the trees too, because in areas where they work and have construction, all the vehicles make carbon dioxide or carbon monoxide and
all of that stuff,
and pollute the air with it.
Great. Good ideas. Now, who have I not talked to? I think you've got some ideas for me.
My parents, when we go to the store, when they get the plastic bags, we reuse them as the bags for inside of our trash cans. So instead of just wasting them.
There you go. There you go. Any final thoughts, Susan, with the Virginia Living Museum?
I think that, we are trying to help people to remember to do all of these things these fabulous kids are already doing. Just remind them that every little bit that they do helps. And, we're trying to do that in a fun and positive way. And I think if you ask these students what they thought of the Smokey Bear exhibit, would you give it a thumbs up or hopefully 2 thumbs up, not any thumbs down? But yeah, it's a fun place to be, and we're doing our part to help kids to learn a little bit more about their environment.
Did you like that exhibit?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. See, you guys are doing a good job there in Newport News at the Virginia Living Museum. Listen, time for another quick break. Stay with us. We'll be right back on Kid Talk. Back on Kid Talk, and we're coming to the end of another Kid Talk, and we want to thank our guest from the Virginia Living Museum, Susan Summers. Thank you very much for joining us. Give her a round of applause, guys. And, of course, we got to give a shout-out to Smokey Bear. And what's Smokey Bear's favorite saying?
Only you can prevent forest fires.
And these kids, by the way, these great kids are from what school? In...
Moya?
And where's Moya?
North Carolina.
Excellent. All right. Now, for more information about the exhibits that we discussed today at the Virginia Living Museum and all of the excitement at the museum in Newport News, you can check out their website at www.vlm.org. And we've got a few more ideas for how our kids are going green with the help of their parents and how they're improving their community. Shelby, tell me about yours.
My mom, when we go to the grocery store, she takes the bags and she puts them in the can, and the next day sometimes she uses them for lunch, and she puts her lunch in those bags.
Good idea. Reusing bags. How about you, Nick?
Well, for recycling, my parents drink soda, so they put them in a bag, and I go out and crush them and put them in a bigger bag, and we sell them. Well,
Really?
Yes.
So you got a little business going on here, huh?
Yes.
Smart man. High five. Pop.
And
I
think they remake them into new soda cans instead of just throwing them away.
Good idea, and that is so correct. Kaylin.
And you can also save energy by using energy-efficient light bulbs.
Excellent idea.
And they don't just cut back on pollution because of how to make electricity. They also cut back on the monthly power bill.
Sounds like you've been having your eyes on the bills your parents are paying, and yes, we like when bills are cut back.
When we go to the grocery store, my mom, like, we get the plastic bags, and when we come home, the next time we go to the grocery store, we give the bags back to them.
Excellent idea.
So they can reuse them.
Mm-hmm. Great idea. Jordan?
I think you can, like, make some art out of them. I made this piece of art and it even had a little cubby in it.
Neat. I'd like to see that. All right. Can I get one more idea in real quick? How about you, Logan? Hit me.
When my parents go to the grocery store, we like take all our food out of the bag, and we have this really big bag, and one side keeps all the cold food cold and all the warm food warm, so we just give the plastic bags back once we're done with them.
Good ideas, kids from Moyock Elementary School in North Carolina and the Virginia Living Museum. Ms. Smokey Bear, and thank you very much for joining us on Kid Talk. I'm Don Robertson for Carrie Theory. Have a great week and recycle.